Today I'm going to be talking about why homeschooling is more beneficial than public school. Most of you, if not all of you, are most likely involved in public school system. But have you ever thought about homeschooling or what it would be like, or have considered switching? Well, for me personally, I am in public school, but I have considered switching to homeschooling. Some of the issues that are talked about is the social aspect. Some people believe that children will experience social isolation as talked about in a debate that I found on www.debate.org. A person not agreeing with the fact that homeschooling is better said children will feel isolated. They will not have the ability to talk to friends during school since they will be home. I disagree with this statement. I believe that just because children are homeschooled doesn't mean they won't know how to be social with others. As I found on thsc.org, there are many options for local homeschooling support groups / associations that families can get involved in or connected with. Some of the different groups involve support groups, extracurricular associations, virtual groups, co-op, field trip groups, religion group, and many more. Overall, these groups will help homeschool students to learn how to socialize with peers and create friendships. You don't need to be in public school to gain social experience. Closer family relationships is also a pro of homeschooling, meaning you have the social aspect of learning how to have a relationship with loved ones, and parents / siblings can also help you grow and learn about a social life. Another issue is flexibility and freedom. Children who are homeschooled have a lot more freedom than those in public school, which some people don't find to be good. Too much flexibility can lead to not completing work or classes and finding ways around the important things. I believe that flexibility can be very beneficial though. As I found on familyeducation.com, you are given educational, physical, emotional, and religious freedom. Part of the educational freedom is that children are able to work at their own pace, as stated on excelhighschool.com. For example, if a child needs more time to go through a certain lesson because they aren't understanding it well or as fast as previous ones, they have the freedom to take time as needed. Public schools don't allow students to do this. You are pressured to get through a section in a specific amount of time, whether you understand it or not. Part of the emotional freedom is that you don't have to worry much about peer pressure and bullies. Homeschoolers are able to have freedom to dress how they want without having to worry about fitting in. Stated in the Family Education article by Isabel Shaw, they live in the real world, where lives aren't dictated by adolescent trends and dangerous experimentations. Part of the religious freedom. Families are able to incorporate their spiritual beliefs and acts into school, unlike a public schools, where it is against many school policies to talk about spiritual beliefs. Another issue is income. Some people believe that homeschooling is too expensive and can lead to a loss of income. As I read on debate.org, a statement made by the person giving us details about cons said that software requires subscriptions, which costs money. As found on timeforlearning.com, homeschooling can cost anywhere from $700 to $1,800 per student. I believe that cost is worth it. There are ways parents can keep costs at a bare minimum, as I found on hslda.org. You can rent or borrow books to subtract the expenses of new books, or use the local library for needed resources. I agree that the benefit is greater than the cost, and homeschooling has more pros than it does cons, because there are ways around such small things like expenses. As I stated at the beginning, I believe that homeschooling has many more benefits than public school. The social aspect. Some people believe that it can cause social isolation, but for me, I believe that there are many ways to get involved with groups as I talked about earlier, and get children connected with other peers outside of their home. Flexibility and freedom. Too much flexibility and freedom can lead to not completing important work that needs to be accomplished. I disagree, because more freedom gives children time to learn at their own pace and give them freedom in all areas, not only being educational, but also physical, emotional, and religious freedom. The income issue. Homeschool has many expenses, including software subscriptions and book costs. But there are ways around this, like renting books or using the local library, like I stated earlier. Overall, I believe that homeschooling gives children more freedom, opportunities, and better education that can be learned at their own learning pace. So this is why I think homeschooling is more beneficial than public school.